Never a huge WNBA fan, but I was never a big NASCAR fan. But you know, I'll watch. You know, if the Daytona 500, there's 50 laps left, I'll turn it on. I knew a little bit about the WNBA. Very physical league. It's not a vertical league. It's a horizontal and a physical league. But I didn't really get it. That they knew for 2 years Caitlin Clark was wildly popular. She was changing ratings in college basketball. And then when she gets drafted in the WNBA, they're like not really prepared for it. They didn't put her on the Olympic team. Like, I just gave up. I read like Christine Brennan, people who know it better than I. She agreed with me. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get the ecosystem of the league. And I felt she got a little bullied by some of the players. She was getting too much attention. So I've been critical of the WNBA. It's like, guys, you used to fly commercial. She got you private jets. Thank her. Thank her. Well, something has happened. The arenas she packed, the popularity has not only dipped. Last year, she got 1.3 million votes for the All-Star game, and she was hurt. She wasn't playing. She's now not even the biggest vote getter for the All-Star game among her team. She's the second biggest vote getter among her team. Now, A'ja Wilson, who plays for Vegas, easily the best player in the league, one of the top 5 women's players I've ever seen. She's the top vote getter. She's the multiple-time MVP. She should be. She's a great player. But it is fascinating, the drop-off with Caitlin Clark, who's still a very good player, still has great shooting range, a playmaker. It's not that. Has she purposefully pulled back because of the animosity created? The WNBA, are they promoting her enough? Ethan Strauss, who does think pieces on all sorts of sports, offered this commentary on her shoe, which just dropped yesterday.
Insane.
I think the shoe looks great. I just wish that they released it 2 or 3 years ago. They missed the boat, Colin. I think that's fair to say. And there was a lot of when Caitlin went into the WNBA and people were wondering, where's the shoe? This is the most famous women's basketball player in the world, maybe ever, most famous active women's athlete. Where is the sneaker? And you would get this messaging from Nike that, oh, it takes time. You got to really line these things up. Well, when LeBron went to Nike in 2003, they had that thing out in 7 months in the olden days, back when America didn't love soccer.
Yeah, so it's a drop-off. I've said this. I've had 2 different people who have been in contact with Caitlin Clark. She's not warm and fuzzy. Her game has a lot of turnovers. Steph Curry can get kind of turnover heavy at times. That's not the end of the world, but it's weird. Like, she's not a big vote getter like she used to be. She's top 5, but she's second in her own team.
It is incredibly obvious, and that is precisely why we need to have this conversation. I cover Caitlin Clark extensively. I watch every single game in its entirety, and I make it a point to read through all the comments and online discourse. As a result, I have a very clear and direct understanding of the situation at hand. We are going to dive straight into it and conduct a thorough examination right now, because the current state of affairs is absolutely, positively insane. It defies all logic and reason. Before we get into the core of the discussion, I have a request for the Caitlin Clark fans out there. Please, I am begging you, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and, more importantly, watch the full length of the video. When you take the time to do that, it significantly boosts the views and helps the channel grow exponentially. This isn't about chasing vanity metrics or superficial numbers. It is about having the capability and the platform to continue creating high-quality Caitlin Clark content that people genuinely want to engage with and discuss. By doing so, we can consistently have the most unbiased, grounded, and honest conversations possible. Watching the entire video makes a substantial difference, and I would genuinely and sincerely appreciate your support in that regard. We have all witnessed the evidence. Caitlin Clark was systematically forced to pull back. She has even admitted as much herself. Consider the situation with the Rookie of the Year award. All of that excitement and recognition had to be hidden and downplayed. The All-Star game, the Olympic team selection, everything was subject to this dynamic. It was as if a concerted effort was made to diminish her presence. Why? Because there was such an overwhelming undercurrent of jealousy, envy, anger, hatred, violence, and disgust directed towards her. They completely dimmed her light. There is absolutely zero question about that fact. It is a documented reality, as obvious and as clear as day. I was making videos and discussing how Caitlyn would accomplish something amazing, break a historic record, and it would barely be discussed. Conversely, if Angel Reese were to, for instance, have a minor moment, the reaction would be explosive, as if we had never witnessed anything like it before. The disparity is staggering. The evidence is overwhelming that they did not want Caitlin Clark to be the face of the league. You then had a chorus of old veterans and retired players dismissing her, claiming Caitlin Clark's not that great and that she was in for a rude awakening. She was not celebrated, she was scrutinized. Meanwhile, consider someone like Paige Buchers. She steps in, she's allowed to dance and showcase her personality freely, and she is immediately considered the golden child. The narrative is, oh my god, we love her, she's amazing. The reception for Paige was one of open arms, in a way that Caitlin Clark was never afforded. And what about Nike? They failed to produce a signature shoe for Caitlin. The excuse is that they can't get something out quickly. Are we being serious right now? There was a palpable fear surrounding the idea of fully embracing Caitlin Clark and putting your arms around her as the star of the league. When I was first introduced to Caitlin Clark in her college days, I felt this immediate backlash. I was intrigued, thinking, who is this Caitlin Clark? I'm hearing she's really good. I watched some videos and clips, and I left a simple comment, oh, wow, Caitlin's awesome. And this wasn't even on my own channel, just on general social media. I got completely crushed. People reacted with disgust. How dare I like Caitlin? I was branded a monster for being a Caitlin Clark fan. A monster. It was a truly disgusting reaction. Now, if I make Caitlin Clark videos on my own platform, people cynically claim, oh, you're just doing it for clicks. Meanwhile, if you look at some of the other channels out there making videos about Caitlin Clark, what do you see? Everything is nothing but controversy. Every video is about doomsday scenarios and manufactured drama. I am here making actual, substantive videos breaking down the games and offering genuine analysis. If all I cared about were views, every single video would be a clickbait title like Caitlin Clark disrespected by Stephanie White, fire Stephanie White. I deliberately do not do that. I invite you to look at the other channels and you will see that almost every video is tabloid style, shocking breaking news about Caitlin Clark. I refuse to engage in that. Occasionally, those topics come up because they are real and relevant, but not every single time. My goal is to have real, actual, honest, grounded, and deep dive conversations about her performance and the league. So, it is truly crazy. Caitlin Clark is currently leading the league in points and assists, yet the narrative would have you believe she hasn't been playing well. They would have you believe she hasn't been revolutionizing the WNBA. Dave from Barstool Sports even pointed out the absurdity of it. He noted they were promoting a game and Caitlin Clark's face wasn't even on the promotional material. It's just ridiculous. When Steph Curry exploded onto the scene, the league, the organization, the media, and even Steve Kerr leaned into it so heavily. They embraced the phenomenon. With Caitlin Clark, it is the exact opposite. They want to downplay it and diminish her impact. When Caitlin has a historical game, the coach, Stephanie White, is quick to deflect and say, well, what about Kelsey Mitchell? What about Aaliyah Boston? What about this, what about that? They kept deflecting from her achievements. Here is the reality, not everyone is willing to stand in front of the line of fire. Not everyone is willing to defend what is obvious. The intensity of the bullying is not even close. The narrative tries to claim that Caitlin Clark fans are the bullies, but it's not even close to being true. Caitlin Clark fans are bullied so much more than anyone else. The whole rivalry narrative between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is often framed as if Clark's fans are the aggressors, but the evidence shows the opposite. It's not even close. People eventually get tired of the onslaught and just say, fine. And then, inevitably, Caitlin got injured because the league doesn't know how to properly officiate or protect its players. The conversation then shifted to, oh, Caitlin Clark needs extra protection, she needs special treatment. What are we talking about? People who have no idea what they're talking about suddenly enter the conversation. This is how it works in professional sports. The league wants Wembanyama to be healthy on the court, they don't want OKC grabbing and pulling him. They want Steph Curry to have freedom of motion without being held and grabbed. That is the standard. They want the superstars to be able to play and be themselves. But with Caitlin, they have tried to diminish, silence, and crush her every chance they could. Relentlessly, nonstop. The media and fans became so afraid to even compliment Caitlin Clark. She has an amazing game and makes insane passes, and the immediate reaction is people focusing on her field goal percentage or her turnovers, or pointing to what Kelsey Mitchell did. It's like, where do you think that production is coming from? The delusion is staggering. I don't know if it's because of the WNBA or what, but I have never seen more people who know less about a sport feel so empowered to share their views. Someone once went off in the comment section about her field goal percentage in a specific game, praising other players. I had to point out that Caitlin Clark's shooting percentage in that game was better than the career shooting percentage of the very players they were praising. So, if that's the case, logic dictates you would have to admit that her game was better than the careers of the players you claim are even better. It's delusional. To say Caitlin Clark's playing pretty well is a gross understatement. She has been elite. She has been absolutely, positively elite. The defenses she faces, the physicality she endures, the passes she makes, the shots she has to take just to generate any type of points and offensive production, it's not even close, man. It is absolutely, positively remarkable what Caitlin Clark is doing. Her passing makes my mind explode, it's insane. The sheer difficulty she is tasked with, game after game, is unprecedented. She isn't 6 feet 5 inches. She isn't just getting easy layups and easy rebounds. She gets picked up full court, from the opposing team's baseline. It is the absolute definition of a full court press. This is not an exaggeration, she should be averaging around 18 assists a game. It's basic math from watching these games. She could have had 20 assists in the last game alone. What she is doing is insane. And you want to talk about turnovers? I've debunked this a million times. LeBron, Magic, all the great ball handlers and passers, they are all Hall of Famers. And they all have high turnover numbers. It comes with the territory. Furthermore, if her teammates could actually convert more layups, her assist-to-turnover ratio would be even better. Does she occasionally get her hand caught in the cookie jar? Absolutely. As does every great player, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, LeBron, Steph, Kobe. That's what happens when you push things to the limit. You're going to have a really bad turnover, a really bad interception, or a really bad sack. That's the way it works. Steve Kerr discussed this with Steph Curry when he was in his prime, acknowledging that you have to live with it. But with Caitlin, they don't want to address that reality. Look at the open shots. Look at the shots that Boston and Kelsey get to make on this very team, and compare them to Caitlin Clark. It's not even close. Look at the defensive energy, the double, triple, and quadruple teams she faces. It's not even close. It's so ridiculous. They just want her to fail. They do not want her to be as popular. They do not want her to be the face of the league. It's that simple. She was the most popular athlete in the world, and she doesn't have a signature shoe. They didn't put her on the Olympic team. She wasn't on the cover of the WNBA 2K game. They did none of that. Her popularity is through the roof, and they wanted to do everything they could to diminish it. Not on LY that, but they tried to make you feel guilty for even being excited by her. Then the major TV shows stopped covering her, Colin Cowherd stopped, First Things First stopped, Get Up stopped, First Take stopped. And are we surprised? This is what I said, this was a revolution, an absolute phenomenon, a cultural movement. And they didn't want it. They did not want it. It's very, very, very obvious. Ask yourself, if Paige Buchers or Angel Reese had the popularity or the success that Caitlin had, would we be in this situation? No. Nope. Listen to some of the things the media says about her. Would they say that about Paige? Would they say that about Angel? Would they say that about Aya Wilson? Would they say that about Sabrina Ionescu? No. Nope. It's open season and free range on Caitlin Clark. Why is that? It's the double standard. For the record, I might be a little late on the post-game show today. I'll try my best to get it out as quickly as I can, but it might be slightly later, so please bear with me. Because if the Fever lose and Caitlin doesn't have a pristine game, and I don't get the video out fast enough, people freak out. And that's how you know how delusional people are. That's why I ask you to watch the full length of the video and subscribe. So we can be part of the movement. So we can change things. So we can exist. You are allowed to be a Caitlin Clark fan. You are allowed to watch the WNBA and be excited when Caitlin Clark is out there balling. You are all O.D. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not allowed to. Those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the WNBA? Is the league failing her and her popularity? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some healthy debates, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you as part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we are really excited to be part of. I think we are well on our way to doing that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.